Hi, my name is Jack Albert, and I'm the Director of Video Production at St Marcus Lutheran Church in downtown Milwaukee. I've actually worked in video production for quite a few years, both in television broadcast and in freelance filmmaking, as well as independent filmmaking and creative filmmaking. So I'm quite familiar with the process of educating people who maybe aren't as familiar with the filmmaking process, from post-production to principal photography to post-production and editing. I ran into quite an interesting situation back in 2020 when the world shut down due to COVID-19. We had to shift our operations to mostly remote, which was an interesting challenge, and I had SSDs that were formatted for APFS, which is Apple's file system. And unfortunately, I have discovered that that's not really the intended use for external SSDs or external drives, and those drives can become easily corrupted by something like an improper computer shutdown or an accidental dismount of the drive. So when that happens, the whole super block of the data of the SSD just completely disappears. You can't find it through the command line, through terminal, through single user mode. I tried everything that I knew of. And I remember getting in touch with Apple to troubleshoot how to recover the data successfully. And I believe that's the company who recommended Stellar. And when I looked into Stellar, I remember talking with my boss at the time, presenting it to her, saying, what do we have to lose? It's a relatively affordable product. We might as well try and see if it can recover our data before we spend thousands upon thousands of dollars to try and recover these terabytes of data. So we used it, and it saw all the data without issue, and it was able to recover all of it. And I actually ran into a very similar situation at my current job as the Director of Video Production, where it was almost the exact same situation, where there was an external APFS SSD that got corrupted and nothing could see it. Not even our IT director, who's an app developer for Apple, he couldn't figure out how to get it back. But Stellar, the product, was able to recover the data, at least 90% of it. And that was huge. I mean, just the fact that I could rely on this software to get me out of what is just a nightmare scenario of losing multiple terabytes of video data that you can't always go back and reshoot. You can't always go back and get the same thing. And we were able to recover it and back it up. And it was just a huge relief. So, I mean, if anyone is ever wondering, a last-ditch resort to try and recover their data, I would recommend Stellar, because it has worked flawlessly every time I've run into a data loss issue. And especially when you're working with, ministries or small companies or a small group of filmmakers who don't necessarily have the money to spend on a data recovery center. That's where Stellar comes in handy, and that's where Stellar saved our bacon, honestly. Like, we couldn't keep working on the same projects that we had if we didn't have this software available to us. So I'd like to thank all the developers on the team at Stellar for the amazing product that they put together. And I'd recommend it to anyone who ever has a data loss issue. Thank you.